A lot of you have already gone through the awakening process, and that awakening process was deeper transparencies of you, deeper layers of you, deeper embraces. Embracing those places and spaces that maybe once left you feeling without traces. Maybe it left you feeling empty, is what they mean by that. I will try to decipher exactly when I can what's coming through or what spirit means by what they say, but when the transmission and transcribing and channeling just starts to come through, it's hard to stop and start and start and stop and start and stop. So understand that they know that those transparencies of you is what they were speaking of, where they left you feeling empty, right? There wasn't something right. There was something on a deeper layer. Now, this is what happens when this Scorpio accent here comes into play with the moon, and it's happening in a deeper psychological way. It's happening on a deeper internal process. And what this is actually getting you to do is things that maybe you used to say, maybe things that you once proclaimed, maybe the way that maybe you shamed your name in vain. We've all done it. We've all shamed ourselves. We've all blamed ourselves. We've all rearranged ourselves to fit somebody else's mold. But man, our souls are so very old. And that whole awakening process was the reality of what you were told, not what was foretold. And you had to start and rearrange the process within your own ideologies, within your own brain, within your own frame, because remember, the words are all part of the plays. The sands of time have clogged your mind. Frequency turned to words, left your voice unheard. You forgot all that you learned when you emerged. Time and space is what took place for many different frequencies that allowed it to be, brought on by many different creeds and beings that became the word to be, which then became the frequency. I love you all. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your gifts. Thank you for hanging on, man. These are some big shifts and some big rifts, man. And no one escapes them. I don't care what guru, I don't care even me. But there is nothing that can shake you and break you because of the experience that already made you. Each one of us has very similar energy. And I like to say we have very similar cuts, right? But they all played out differently. Whether it was a lover, a brother, a mother, a sister, a child, a this, a work, a that, or whatever that is, the wilds is what Spirit says. It was all part of the process. And you chose not to escape what you knew was best, not what you thought. So you put your mind and your heart at rest because you've already been through all of the tests. The bread is the knowledge. The bread is the knowledge. The experience and the knowledge consecrate the wisdom. Not all is lost and not all came at a cost. But you thought. And when you went back and you picked up this fragment and this piece from this experience and this weakness, which became a strength, and then became the peakness of you and your identity reflection of the eternal existence that you are, not what you look like, not what you show up as. And those truths had to be rearranged, and you had to find different things that became your muse, is what Spirit said. Those outside things that you tried to grasp onto were all different frames and different parts and different pieces of you, different fragments per se, that you were willing to pick up along your pathway that said, yes, I want to keep this piece because this piece is valuable. Why is it valuable? Because it's truth. It's authenticity to your spiritual identity, the soul in which you are, the energy, the light body, the being. And when you come back to that frame in which you are, not what you thought, not what you assumed, not what everybody tried to project or proclaim you to be or put you in a box just like old pairs of socks, is what Spirit says. You had to rearrange the ideologies of how you play the game. You had to see the reality in which you were being projected, but also protected from in your own reality. Living in the in-between is not something that is easy to do. You're always in the in-between, unbeknownst to you. You're always weaving in and out. All of that knowledge that you were trying to grasp about, it became something you embodied, not something that you shout. The way that energy works is attraction rather than promotion. And although you don't understand even your smallest of notions, the seeds in which you plant, whether they be this or that in your reality, they're all subject to one's own embodiment for the soul level of growth in this reality. So you had to stop looking at your experiences in a way that made you feel shame, blame, guilt, or wanted you to hide and refrain, is what Spirit said. Because each one of those experiences you felt, you dealt, and you were taught Mr. Miyagi things in the background, whether you see it or not. And the deeper level of what you're able to see, what you're able to understand in the in-between, is what Spirit says, is what's really shaping and weaving the coherence of the existence now. It was never about what was really right in front of your face. It was always about the things that you felt trying to leave a trace. And now that you have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, it's now time to embody those things that you chose to proclaim. I want to be this. I don't want to do this. I can't deal with this. I don't want this in my life. I want this. Because in this experience, I've always said that the divine, the God, the one, the truest in nature, the all, the source, the infinity, would always sit there and teach me what not to do or what I didn't want in order to proclaim what I did in my experience. You go through what is truly the darkest level of experiences, and many of us call them the devil. But in reality, it's pieces and parts of you, but at the same time, there are things that like to sneak and pass by in the in-between too. These things that you had to experience were not just on a human level. They were on a soul level of existence. Pieces and parts that you thought that you missed. Pieces and parts that you don't even remember. Don't try to. Because those are washed away old identities that weren't even you, that somebody tried to proclaim over you or put you in a box, and you assumed that that's the way that you had to be, or that's the way that it was. Because everything in this reality will try to get you to conform. Conform to what you think, conform to what this is, conform to that. If there's anything I've taught you is to think for yourself, and don't ever bypass that. And more so than think, than to believe. And more so than to believe, but to receive. And more so than anything, to sit with your team and figure out what that means to you. Because to each one of their own experience is definitely true. And you cannot take away a soul's level of experience because it will cost you. How do I know? I did it. I did it. Because I'm so good at what I do and what I can do, there were some times that I didn't even understand that the healing that I was doing on a soul level of healing of growth for somebody else, I was actually helping them actually bypass the lesson. They would receive the blessing. I would receive the karmic experience of their lesson. Why? Because I'm a shaman. Because that's sometimes what we do. And until we can see the reality of what we're doing, this is why I had to learn there's some things I cannot touch, and there's some things that come at a cost, because there are some things that the divine says needs to stay for that soul level of existence to understand the reality in a different type of way. It is what a master teacher does. These experiences molded you, shaped you, but you allowed them to proclaim you. You allowed them to rearrange you into what you thought you knew. How many of you in your existence have thought you know what the divine is? Or you were told from some past paradigm what God, what the divine feminine, what it is, only to come and find that that truly is undefined, and that it's not a thought, and it's not a vision, it's a feeling. That feeling is a believing. In order for you to be able to feel that the divine and God is real, you have to be able to believe in something outside that your human consciousness can perceive. And in order to start and move thought out of the way, you have to learn how your ego plays, and how it's cunning, and how it's powerful, and how it's baffling in this existence. And once you understand how you play, why you play the way you play, and why you do the things you do, and you understand, it no longer frustrates you. And you understand how to move in coherence with the command of the energy within, without, and all around you. Awakening is not enough anymore, people. Awakening is just the beginning. It's the embodiment to the core. What you proclaim to do, what you name to do, how you embody that energy every day in insistence and integrity and devotion and persistence. And you allow those things to naturally mold and shape you. You are coming into existence with universal co-creation, which is the divine mother itself, with one another and all things. The conscious awareness of the truth is just the awakening process within you. The embodiment is truly the worldly view. How are you going to be? How are you going to act? See, my husband has a beautiful shirt that I got him, and it says, how are we going to act today? Because I match energy. Energy speaks for itself. So does love. So does truth. So does authenticity. And this is what you have sifted through. Now the divine is asking you to embody these things on a deeper level. You want to build that. You want to make that. You want to shake that. You want to proclaim that. Guess what? It's time. These are the times that we, Spirit said, stayed alive for. This is it. This is the energy. And there's more shifts and more rifts to come. And it doesn't mean that it comes from a place of reactive energy, because the emotional intelligence, the emotional integrity, the intuitive awareness in which you have, the devotion to self, the notion, the discernment. If there's anything that you guys know on this channel that we talk about, it's the discernment. And you had to learn it. There was a deep discussion with the mentee yesterday about the difference between what my heart says and what this says. And when the divine speaks to me, it's parallel, because it's in the in-between space of the heart and the solar plexus. And my heart is my spirit. My heart is excited and naive. And sometimes it likes to push the envelope and be a little too naive in this existence. Why? Because it's like a 14-week-old puppy that doesn't even understand its own body and the own energy that it has and that it harbors and that it carries. And so sometimes my heart will lead me astray. My mind likes to back that up in a multitude of crazy, baffling ways sometimes. But it's my soul. My soul has never led me astray. And when you start deepening and opening the pathways, there's no longer anything that needs to be said between you and the one. It's all here. Everything is here. That's why people say, oh, well, God placed it on my heart. But your heart has to be pure, because is it your ego that's doing it with the best of intentions? You have to understand where it's coming from. And in order to understand where the messages are coming from and being received, you have to understand the true embodiment of thee. You have to understand the internal, the external, and how everything is intertwined in one paradigm. It is truly a mind, body, and soul, freeing one spirit at a time. And this is the unraveling that what you have been doing within your own mind. All that energy that you went through, every single time I spoke to many mentees, they were like, I can't think, thoughts, feel. That's, I'm telling you, you got to go to the feel. The feel is real. It's the divine feminine. It's the divine feminine. It's where all that energy comes from. You got to feel. There is no thought right now. You're not going to think your way through this. You're not going to be able to. You got to move through the resistance. And they slowly understood the weaving of that process. And now they're in the coherence of mind, body, and soul. And the masculine is coming into this, but they have a harder time in this resistance. Feminine, please do your due diligence, and you're gonna have to hold the masculine with white kid gloves, okay? They have a harder resistance to get to the embodiment of the awakening and to the embodiment, because what you're doing now is you're in a level where you're not just in Christ consciousness. That's only part of it. You're into the Christos, the embodiment, the heart-centeredness, as some people call it. So you're going to have to help them through this process, and it's part of the patriarchal system. It's not just the relationships they've been in, or the tribulations, or the trials that they've been through, or the spiritual wiles that they've been through. It comes from a very deep, deep ancestral layer of the patriarchal system. Remember, we were in the matriarchal system. Let's just bear fruit to bare bones, okay? We were in a matriarchal system. We wanted to experience a patriarchal system in some theory, thought, process form. We can get way deeper in the core. We'll do that on YouTube later or on my website, all right? But in that existence, you have to understand it's harder for them to come into the pureness of the embodiment because of what they have to fight through within their own prism and the societal constraints. So it takes a little bit longer for them to do it, to come into the coherence of full oneness in that process. And this is why the Great Mayan crossover occurred when it occurred, and how it occurred and when it occurred. If you guys remember speaking about that, where it was the second part of the eclipse that came through. And that was the rise of the awakening of the divine feminine and that push through. And that's been a few years ago. I mean, like a few. 2017 was the first, 2023 was the second, was the crossover. And so, yeah, a lot has hurt. But those, it's like, Chief just said, rub some dirt on them, all right? Literally. But in that way, you have to understand how these games are played. And they're played through these things where we're led astray. We're led astray by other people's energies, other people's thoughts. Because remember, everything is energy. And a lot of the times that we're born into these families, we take on the molding and the shaping and the patterns of what we are grown into. And so the moldings, the shapings, and the patterns of what we're grown into, all of that is what's being removed. And the identity, the truest of form of the spiritual sovereignty is what most of you guys call it, the sovereignty, right? The identity. I've always said that it's been a spiritual identity issue. And it's true, because I learned at the age of 13 how much I was suffering from a spiritual identity loss. And it was because I didn't know myself. So remember, know thyself and to thyself be true. And my team would like me to throw a little bit of cards here for you today. And we will see what else comes out on a collective scale. I guess the teacher is done. And now I guess it's time for a little bit of fun. And we're going to hit some things on some deeper layers. Maybe it'll be a little bit more interpersonal. Things right now feels like a snail. And I don't know about you guys, but I had the experience this weekend where I got to actually see Mercury and Hermes doing its thing, but in a completely different way. And it was where you could see the start and the stop. It was like, I could see how, let me put it this way. I wasn't supposed to receive something till Monday, but I received it on Saturday. But I got an email on Monday that I had received it on Monday. I also was supposed to receive something on Saturday, but didn't receive it till Monday. And I got an email on Monday, or on Saturday, that said it would be delivered Monday. There was just some backwards ass shit. So you can see how actually Spirit is literally starting, stopping, pausing, playing. Saturn's got a huge play in things right now. There's a lot of dynamics that are changing, that are rearranging. And the astrology will tell you all. A lot of you have heard your call. You just don't understand how it's woven into the spirit form and the physical existence, is what I'm being told. So it's like I have these talents, skills, gifts, and abilities, but yet I'm here in this physical reality. You're not even really in any type of 3D layer anymore. You're just in a physical reality. You have to intertwine in certain places and certain spaces in this existence. It's real. It's part of the paradigm. But it's the path of least resistance. So let go of the burden comes out. So I know this is easy to say, but it's really done in an energetic, profound way. And Spirit wants me to speak about this. I know you guys are tired of hearing it, because I'm tired of hearing it too. I won't lie. I'm tired of hearing it too. Yes, I know. Let go of the burden. Release what does not belong to you, and your soul will feel lighter and freer. Lighten the load. Release spiritual freedom. This is what they are talking about when you guys start and step back into the embodiment and remove the self-doubt. It's that inner child that gets to be free, that gets to play, that doesn't have to explain why they are the way they are. They don't feel caged anymore. It's relieving the bondage of thyself, right? We all do funny little weird quirky fun things, but those are all part of our existence. And it's like you're releasing whatever you think about yourself. Right now, the energy is demanding you to release what you think about yourself. And go with the feeling. And that's really what they're talking about here with letting go of the burden. Release what does not belong to you. A lot of us have been energetically taken advantage of, but that's because we allowed it. We didn't understand the accountability, thank you, Bumblebee, so much, of that energetic intertwining. Not in an etherical way, not in a physical way, and not in a spiritual, energetic way. And this is where it's like these deeper layers with the moon in Scorpio of these maybe thoughts that might be coming up, or you have flashbacks of places or spaces or things that you've said or things that people have said to you. Those things can be coming up right now. And that's the energy of where you're feeling lighter and freer, and you're not judging you. See, one thing that I've learned as a master teacher for the Ascended Masters is being able to do what I do. I've had to go through so much soul level growth, so much physical, emotional disembodiment, spiritual disembodiment. There are so many trials, tribulations, death experiences, spiritual attacks, things that I don't think, I know I shouldn't have made it. I should not be here today. And every single one of those beautiful things has allowed me to sit and do what I do with the Ascended Masters that come through. And here's the reasoning behind that. Judgment. Judgment of character, judgment of self, judgment of someone else, judgment of someone else's flaws, judgment of how they think, judgment of how they feel, judgment of how they look, judgment of what they wear, judgment of how they come through in energetic form. I have gone through all of that and the scorning of all of that to be able to sit with the beautiful souls that I sit with. Because if I am here to do what I am here to do in solidarity and vulnerability, there is no ego that can sit before you. None. I have none. After 7 years, my mouth is still fucked up from being gun-butted in the face, tortured, kept captive, enslaved. There are so many things, physically, emotionally, and mentally, that I should not have lived through. My daughter was kidnapped from me. You have just the tip of the iceberg. These things are not wounds. These experiences through the mental and the emotional torture in a physical existence of what it means to be a spiritually targeted individual, to have the soul resistance and the love to show up, to allow spirit to come through, to pass the knowledge and the experiences, which is the wisdom, so that you don't have to fight the way I did through the things that I fought through. There's no reason to. That's my job, is to release you of those burdens in which you thought were you, that never were you, but yet you have accountability to understand why you were placed there, why you played the way you played, and why you energetically stayed the way you stayed. It's been very clear in the process that there are many that can't let go of things from 15 years ago. I had a beautiful conversation with my mother, and I get to have a beautiful relationship with that woman today. It was not that way, yo. Oh boy, it was not that way. And I get to have a beautiful relationship with her today, and I said, Mom, it's been 7 years since that happened. 7 years since we went through that as a family together. And she goes, holy shit. it feels like yesterday. And I said, see, that's because the emotion and the burden you won't release. You think you're still there. You feel like you're still there. You feel like you're still in despair. You feel like you're still that, and you're not. I was like, that's where people keep you, because they're there in their own cyclical pattern, and they can't let go of that. And she goes, holy crap, that makes so much sense. And I was like, exactly. This is part of the resistance that we don't even know that people keep us in. And I was like, look at that. And she goes, holy crap, you're right. It's so different. She goes, I didn't even realize that, but when you said that, something just completely went boom and released. And I was like, yeah. That's the emotion, that's the thought, that's the subconscious that you're not even aware of, that is keeping you there in that moment, in that time, and in that motion of despair. Look at that. That's the burden. All these things that you're hearing about, oh my God, these world cards and these tower cards and these power cards that are coming out for you, and these changes and these shifts and these rearranges. It's because you have released the identity reflections that no longer make you, that you thought were you. It's exactly what I just described to you. And many of you just had this similar experience going, holy shit, that was 15 years ago. $10 years ago, 8 years ago, 18 years ago. You can see all these big cycles. Spirit just said it's holy revival. You can see all these big cycles. It's huge. Look at this. Aw, boundless love comes out. The understanding, the understanding, the overstanding. The higher self, the grounded self, the soulful self. It's the mind, body, soul, and spirit. Love is an infinite force. One thing I figured out after almost 44 years, we got another month and a half, almost 2 months to go, but in my 44 years of existence, okay, here in this physical plane, we'll call it, all right, love is undefined. Seriously. You cannot define love. It's a feeling. It's a believing. It's a receiving. Now, it comes with truth, and it will kick your ass. My chief has kicked my ass, bro. Spirit has kicked my ass. The universe has kicked my ass. All right? Thank God. Thank God they had boundless love enough to kick my ass, to get me into alignment and coherence with what I'm here to do. Thank God somebody loved me enough to put the time and the energy and effort into me. So you want to know why I'm dedicated to my team, to the universe, and to the Divine Mother? They were dedicated to me. Always. Always gratitude. Always grace. Because it's spirit that passes through me. Yes, I had to do multitudes of work to be in coherence and existence with it. But, yeah, it did hurt. Yeah, you kicked my ass, bro. He just showed me his moccasin up my ass with me bent over with my head down in the grass. And he said, there's a monkey in the grass with a bullet up its ass. Pull it out, pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. That was one of the old military songs my grandfather used to tell me about when I was about 7, 8 years old. And I got caught doing shit I shouldn't have been doing. In stillness. This whole pattern of stillness. You've had to learn that the sacred breath of stillness is where the transformation takes place, is what Spirit is saying. Okay? In stillness, you hear the universe. It's the whispers. It's the in-between of the unseen that you seek. And so when people sit in that stillness, we call it the doorway, the hallway, right? There's so much resistance. And that resistance is coming up from you, inside of you, because of what you're thinking things have to be, what you're assuming, or what the subconscious is reeling about in those moments. And that's when you sit with that. And you don't pick it apart. You don't sit there and pick it apart. You don't sit there and take a math quiz and do the long division, and, no. You don't pick it apart. Okay, that's the wrong idea. All right. What you do is you sit with it. Now, what does that truly mean when you sit with it? You go, okay, I understand that this is coming up. I understand that I feel this way. Now, where does that come from? Why is that resistance here? It's some type of internal pathway. It's some type of assumption. It's some type of programming, even in the neurotransmitters of the fascia, of the tissue of your body. This is why Tai Chi, yoga, breath work, stretching, okay, and energy work is parallel. When you start moving in with your energy, moving in, like you're moving in with your energy body, like, hey mom, I'm moving back in again, okay? Like you're moving in to your energy body, because the soul knows before anything, right? But the mental and the nervous system and the physical body has to catch up within the energetic prism. And that's what this has been. That's the hallway. That's the darkness. That's the stillness. Now, Mercury's still fucking around with things, okay? On the 20th, he starts to say, sayonara, see you later. Thank you, Hermes, for all your blessings and all your teachings and all your reshapings and all your redoings. And that in which completely cascades on April the 7th. But we've got the new moon in Pisces. We've got some big heavy hitters hitting on the 22nd. We've got so much going on in astrology, and more of the astrology reports come out over on YouTube. So if you guys aren't paying attention to YouTube, do so. But there's another card that flipped over in this deck, and I have to find it. Okay, here it is. Oh, this is so beautiful. It was the only one that was flipped over. That's the back, and this is the front. And I knew there was one, and this is gorgeous. And the Spirit said it has begun. The sacred pathway is what comes out. The sacred pathway. I'll show you guys the cards again so you can just sit in the euphoria of the energy, because that's important, okay? Thank you, honey, for letting me use your cards. Thanks. Really didn't ask. It kind of just happened. Anyway, the sacred pathway. That's it. A sacred pathway unfolds before you. Trust in your inner compass and follow the divine guidance that leads to your soul's highest calling. Divine path, inner compass, spiritual guidance. In order to get to that, you've had to move into coherence. You've had to move out of emotional disembodiment and emotional embodiment. In lamest terms, you've had to get very mature in your emotions. What to respond to, what not to respond to, where am I giving my time, energy, and effort, where is it important to do that for myself, what do I value, what are my personal morals, integrities, and values. This is why so many of you split away from the families that you were born into, is because the morals, integrities, and values didn't align. They weren't on the same coherence of frequency. And now you guys are really feeling like, okay, I'm really not alone. There's really more of us that are feeling this new pathway, this new energy. Look, this is beautiful. This is what is on the bottom of the deck. Portal of mystery is what says, and trust in the timing after that. And they said, stop. A portal into the unknown calls you. Embrace the mystery to discover new opportunities and profound revelations. They're all around, but you have to be able to get out of the emotional discomfort and dis-ease to be able to see the opportunities that the divine is showing you all over. And that is the mystery. And no, you're not going to know how to do it. I'm just going to be honest with you. In Four Corners Healing 37, building that space in 2019, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing it. And that is one of the slogans of Four Corners Healing 37. It's the formula to life. I have no idea what I was doing. I was just doing it. And now it's become a really big thing. A really big thing. And it's getting really big. And it's expanding. Very big. Way bigger. And I've always said, God-given, God-driven. God has always been the centerpiece of this table. And it was everything that I was taught to do. And in that place and in that space, I also was led to build the nonprofit. And the nonprofit is where the seminars and the ceremonial things and the certifications take place, and the therapy animals that we're training to be used for the sanctuary there. And Four Corners is where you guys get to come into a one-on-one space and receive the healing in so many different avenues and attributes that you may need. If you want to understand your astrology and know way more about you, we have that available. If you're into sound and frequency and vibration and hearing things, sound bowl healing is amazing, and sound therapy is amazing. A lot of you are really in tune with color therapy, because underneath, think about it like this: doctors, they deal with the organs and the tissues, right? And the cells, right? Below that, you've got the atoms. Below the atoms is where they do the radiation that takes place for cancer patients. Underneath that radiation is where the color spectrum is of frequency, color frequency. Underneath that is quantum level healing. It's the nothingness. And so we teach these things. And it's not that you don't ultimately know these things, but how does it really work through you? How do you embody it? How does it transpire through you? And after the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that I have humbly been able to sit with and teach and be in seminars with, okay, they each have a different way of doing it. Not one of them is the same in the way that they see it, the way that they feel it, the way that they work through it. And part of the spirituality game has been trying to put you guys in a box and teaching you, oh, you're all the same. Oh, you're all psychics. Oh, you're all intuitives. Oh, you're all empaths. Oh, you're all this. I will tell you, yes, but there is deeper knowledge and awareness to that, and how those gifts, talents, skills, and abilities work through you and how they work through your blueprint, okay? There is something beautiful that was instilled by the Divine Mother only specifically in each and every one of you in your soul's blueprint, okay? I will tell you that, and each one of them have been able to understand that through the deepest of core levels. So we don't teach you surface level stuff here. We teach you how to embrace it, how to empower it, how to name it, how to reshape it, how to reframe it for you to be able to do parts of those things and those purposes that you're here to do. And over at Womb of the Ancient Sun, there is so much that goes on over there, from seminars to events. And here, hopefully, I was hoping here soon we were going to bring the puppies in on live so you guys could get to meet the therapy dogs and the emotional support animals that we are training and working with in the background. And so you could see and meet them and greet their energy and their souls, and start to understand the process and what we're going to be doing with them, with you guys, and for you guys here through Womb of the Ancient Sun. So if you guys would like to make donations to help support the cause, you can do that through Womb of the Ancient Sun. If you guys would like to jump into seminars, videos that are members only, you can do that at YouTube. You can do that over there. Also on the website, man. There is so much that is offered in so many different ways. The blogs are about to come out in the astrology. You're about to get spiritual baths and spiritual types of ceremonial things you can do for all the astrology that's coming up for you guys. So there's a lot that goes on over there at Womb of the Ancient Sun, and intertwining with Four Corners Healing 37. So it's just a plethora of availability of knowledge for you. There's free blogs. There's blogs where you can pay $15 a month to get all the insight. For you can pay for the videos $2.99 a piece, or you can become a member over there on YouTube and get the same thing. There's a lot that's available to you. It is not expensive to meet you where I meet you, or for you to meet me where I meet you, okay, in multiple different ways. If you guys are wanting to understand your soul pathways and the deeper blueprints to yourself and to your sovereignty, and how you're to actualize these things and truly embody these things. I work with a lot of business people. You know, kind of like Jesus did. You know how Jesus actually made those people into those things because of the fact is what he taught, what he told, the knowledge and stuff like that, the wisdom that they bestowed upon them. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and business people, you know, because there's a lot of things that I see and a lot of dynamics, even for my husband. Like, I see weird shit and I'm like, yo, they're showing me da-da-da-da-da-da, and he's like, that's crazy. And it all comes down to entrepreneurship, spirituality, business, right? And how to actualize these things. So I have a lot of people that I do get to work with when it deals with many different spiritual attributes of things. So if you guys have questions about entrepreneurship and how to make these things move, or how best that it's going to serve you in your pathway with what you're here to do, please, by all means, visit me over at Four Corners Healing 37. Do a soul, you know, alignment with me there, or you can jump into the mapping process. Look, the Queen of Cups with the Knight of Wands. It's all the emotion. You're in the divine feminine of creation. It's no longer a notion. The Knight of Wands is telling you to embody it. This is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is literally in her emotional innovation. It's creation. It is the sacral. It is the solar plexus working together. This is the emotion, the initiation of that devotion that you're wanting to put time, energy, and effort into. Let me tell you, it does not matter if somebody else is doing it too. Get out of your freaking head, okay? Whatever competition you're feeling, whatever thing that you feel like you're up against, stop. You have no control over that. And I will tell you right now that there is so much out there for everybody to eat, but it doesn't look like that. And the divine will always bring to you who is meant to be brought to you, who is meant to work with you, that needs your experience, your knowledge, your talent, your skill, your blueprint, your little beautiful pill that the divine mother instilled in your programming that nobody else has. It's real. Get out of your head, okay, and start innovating and embodying that thing. Do the thing, the intent, the will, the passion, the drive, the purpose behind it. It's alive inside your body. This is why you're like, I got to move my hands. I got to do something. I got to do something. Yes, that's creation. That's fire. That's passion. That's not stagnation. And it's shown here by the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is this movement, this fire. Now it's the apprenticeship. So guess what? It's part of your holy desire, but you have no idea how to do it, do you? And you're like, how do I do it? Do I do it this way? Do I do it that way? I don't understand. Should I do it this way to start off with? Yo, just start. Just take the step. Okay, and it will be molded and it will be shaped. But this is the universe's request right now, that you have to take the step to actually then get the energy back of what the next step is. Okay, this is where it's faith over facts. This is where it's faith over fear. This is where it's faith over everything. Period. You can't fail. You only fail if you stay here and move like a snail and don't do anything, is what Spirit said. It's time to bake bread. So you've eaten the bread, which is the knowledge. Now it's time to bake the bread. And break the bread, is what Spirit said. You heard it. You called it, is what Spirit just said. The Nine of Swords on the bottom of the deck. I just called more than half of you out in here. It's all subject to the understanding of what you're going through, because I've been there. I've done that. I've done it for you, so you didn't have to. Trust me, I am not escaping anything that you guys are going through. I'm just going through it in a different way, in a different type of embodiment, and I understand it fully. But if you don't think that I'm not having to come out of my comfort zone, okay? If you understood some of the people that I'm sitting in front of over the last week and some of the people that I'm dealing with, I sit on my hands and I keep my mouth shut, and I'm a good little girl. I only speak when I'm spoken to right now. Other than that, that's what we do. And when we speak with emotional intelligence, discernment, spiritual wisdom. Because we've learned it. And we've earned it. So trust me, it's happening to all of us, just very differently. The things that you're being pushed to do, the things and the mental and emotional games that you're coming out of, when you can see them for what they are, all you can do is laugh and go, that's cute. It's real cute. Wow. Man. You know, I was fucked up for assuming, I guess. You know, who am I to assume, you know? All by divine's hands, and the universe and the divine is just showing you, oh, you thought. Yep, that's the problem. You thought you knew. And you've got to move. You've got to make the movement move. Okay? You've got to make the movement move. On the bottom of the deck after the Nine of Swords is the King of Wands. So yes, the King of Wands can cycle through things, but the King of Wands is really that action phase. It's the Mars, it's the Mercury. The Pisces energy is the Queen of Cups. It's the emotion. The Knight of Wands is where we've got that new type of like Mars energy, because Mars went through its Kazemi and it's like, yeah, let's go. And it's the apprenticeship of what that first initial, oh, I got to do this. Oh, but wait, fuck. Everybody else already does that. How do I do that? What is that going to look like? Well, if I have to do that, then I have to change that. But do I really want to do this? Is this what I'm really supposed to do? Is this what I really feel like I'm supposed to do? Okay. Oh, shit. Now I'm in fear because I don't know what to do. And now I'm in angst because I don't know how to do it. Now I have 50,000 questions. And now I can't even think. Thanks, Mercury. Pull way back. And that's why most of you are in that Four of Cups energy, the Four of Swords energy, that transitional phase. The King here, okay, is the driving force in a sense that's actually aligning to do that thing. It's the steadfast energy. This is what I feel. No BS is the driving force behind that, but it hasn't shown itself yet. And I truly feel what they're showing me right now is this is really part of the change that happens in Aries season. So this is underneath my feet. And it's underneath my butt. So it's in my root and it's in my feet right now. I can feel it when I pick up the card. I put it down. I relax. I go away. Nothing else. This makes me feel here heady. There's stuff in the back here in between my shoulder blades when I tune into this energy, and here, and there's a little like weariness on my heart. So I understand the head and the heart here that's going on. The Knight of Wands, that's in my belly. That's like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. It's also in my heart space where it's like, I'm ready. Oh wait, but what am I ready for? And the Queen of Cups is going, the pole, the one that sits right here, not the heart, not the soul, the one right here, that's where you need to go. The King of Wands is that full-on actualizing of the energy. Behind the King of Wands is the Two of Wands. This is so funny. It's so funny. It's the Two of Wands. Now, normally in Rider-Waite Tarot, he's got one wand behind him, he's holding one wand, and he's got the world in front of him, which means he's passing through something, and he's making this decision, kind of passing through something, letting some part of some foundational or career or physical aspect, you know, there. It can be just something that you choose to no longer do. It doesn't have to be something huge. Thank you so much. It doesn't have to be something big. But the world then is going, okay, I have this new wand, which would be the Ace of Wands then, right? And I have the future, right? And what am I wanting to build? What am I wanting to create, right? This Ace of Wands here, this wand that he's holding is going, okay, this is the passion, this is the power, this is the persistence. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but this is what I want to create. So this internal phase that you've gone through has helped you realize what you want to embody to actually actualize worldly, right? So Pisces not only deals with worldly, right, illusions and intrusions, but it really is internal illusions and intrusions. And with those internal illusions and intrusions, this is what you've been moving through. And so that creative energy is moving with the Queen of Cups that's going, okay, this way. The Knight of Wands is going, all right, I'm really excited, but I don't know what I'm excited about, but I'm excited, and I don't know, but I'm really excited, but I don't know what I'm excited about. And then the Nine of Swords is going, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? No, what do you want to do? Quit asking yourself, what am I doing with my life? That's the wrong question. What do I want to do? What feels good to me to do? Where am I feeling like I need to give more time, energy, and effort to those things? The Six of Swords, moving away from that mental energy, the unclarity, right? The Six of Swords is mentally moving out of the fog, okay, and going, all right, I can't think anymore. This has got to stop. Shut up. And you distract yourself by what I call being stupid human, okay? And you just take care of yourself, and maybe you eat some bonbons and watch TV, play video games, you know, do the dishes, clean, take care of thyself in those types of ways. Maybe you need to make a couple phone calls, whatever that is, you stupid human for the day, okay? Maybe you make, you know, this cute little charcuterie board or something to feed your soul. Maybe you go pick some food out of your garden, you know, something to connect with and feed your soul. Maybe you take a spiritual bath and maybe you make a pot, a melting pot on the stove. There's many different ways that you can feed that, right? And then you just allow yourself to naturally move. The Six of Swords is literally where you're moving onto a new thought process. You're going to see things more clearly. Mercury is only 3 days away from going direct. A lot of you have gone through this spiritual, as we will call it, upgrade too, because thy Mother Earth is going through the same. So as she's going through this massive rebirth, we have too. The ascension symptoms, the headaches, the not eating, the eating this, the only wanting that, the sleeping, the exhaustion, the what the hell is going on? I've never been lethargic like this. Is something wrong with me? My body aches. I feel this twinge. I see this thing. I feel this way. Just pull the covers over my head and just let me sleep for the day. I don't care. Oh, wait, I can't do that. I've got a responsibility to take. It's all of that. That's literally what's going on in a nutshell right now. And when you get through the next couple days, the next 72, there will be more clarity for you, which is going to help you. That's the Six of Swords, moving away from the cloudiness, the questioning, the uncertainty, into sincerity is what Spirit said. So into more devotion of going, okay, I may not know how to exactly do this, but I'm going to start this thing. And I know when I start this thing, when I have a question, I know I'm going to get an answer. And when I have an answer, I know I'm going to have another question. But that's part of the universal coherence that you're starting to work with. You no longer are having to pull and weave it all in from all the way up here. You're now in a space of working in coexistence, feeling through the resistance. And you're also questioning yourself, okay, I really want to do this, but can I really do this? Will this really work this time? I tried this. It didn't work last time. I don't know. Should I do this again? But I really feel like I want to do this again. Hey, Soup. And that's the energy here that you're going, okay. It's maybe I'm going back to something I've already done, but there's a new flavor. There's a new way. There's a new energy even about you. There's a new talent, skill, gift, or ability, or the way that you're doing it has changed. That's the energy being portrayed here as well. Okay? The foundations of everyone. Thank you, Soup. It's so nice to see you. The energy foundation for everyone is changing. And the way that I can actually actualize this to you, because now they're asking me to go into part of the transmission that I received earlier today for each of you. Okay? And this is where we're understanding just the deeper layers here. So today you're feeling emotional sensitivity along with intuitive clarity mixed with confusion. Old patterns are surfacing, a desire for authenticity, discomfort around things that no longer feel real or feel true. Deeper awareness of what you've been avoiding, maybe what others have been avoiding. This is not chaos. This is the alignment pressure. So today's not really about making big moves or even forcing clarity or figuring anything out. It's recognizing what's already clear today, but it fully hasn't been accepted yet. So what this means is that the Pisces energy, especially with Mars and Mercury there, is dissolving the illusions, the internal intrusions. Scorpio reveals the truth underneath, how you feel about things, what you feel is the right avenue for you, how you put time, energy, and effort and your love into things. What was once hidden is now being felt within your own prism. What was once ignored is now undeniable in different types of sorts is what Spirit is saying, okay? And what was once intellectual is now very emotional. And when truth becomes emotional, this is when it becomes real, okay? So the energy psychology layer here. So yes, if you guys didn't know, I'm an energy psychologist as well. So from a psychological standpoint here, you're becoming way more aware of what the nervous system has been avoiding. It's not like you've been doing it on purpose. That's not what we're saying here. You couldn't be that in tune with your own body, with your own feeling, with your own nervous system. Why? Because you were always reeling at everything on the surface. You were always seeing, you were always feeling the surface level of everything. Thank you so much, Donald. And so what that can feel like now is overwhelm, resistance, emotional waves, withdrawal, and very heightened sensitivity. This is actually where the moment is. Awareness is really trying to become integration. Okay? It's not loud, it's deep. The Piscean influence right now that's dissolving illusion, but at the same time the movement is moving through Scorpio, which is bringing emotional truth to the surface. And when those two energies meet, something cataclysmic happens beneath our feet. Truth stops being something we think about and becomes something we feel, without a doubt. And when truth becomes something you feel, the knowing is real. It becomes undeniable. That's why so many feel sensitive today, or reflective, or even a little maybe uncomfortable, and you can't really name it. It's not because something is wrong, but it's because something is becoming very clear. Not just new clarity, but maybe the clarity was already there. Maybe it just wasn't fully accepted yet in the body for you to become very aware. Today is not necessarily about figuring things out. It's about being honest with what you already know. Because the energy right now isn't asking you to search for more truth. It's just asking you to acknowledge it. What you do know, what you can hold, what you can carry, what you can do, not what you can't. You've already been through that. You've already told the universe what you don't want and what you can't have and what you can't be in contact with. Now it's about what you can hold. And right now, it's not about figuring anything or everything out. It's about being honest with what you already know. Because the energy is not asking for that truth to be even acknowledged more. It's just asking you to embody it to the core. What truth in your life right now feels clear, but it hasn't fully been accepted yet, which means embodied? Today's energy isn't revealing new things. It's making existing truth impossible to ignore. And that's it. There's this intensity in the field today. It's not chaotic, but it's deeply penetrative. And this is where illusion does not matter. It shatters distinctively, dramatically, and dynamically. Okay? It softens, it fades, and it becomes so transparent you can't even recognize the eternal pathways. Thank you, Bumblebee. Until what remains? What remains to the truest of core is something way much more and way more intimate. The collective has already awakened. The collective is now asking to become honest with what it already knows. Because there's a difference between seeing truth and allowing the truth to rearrange you. Today's energy sits exactly at this threshold of many things: internal, external, worldly, and all around things. Allowing that truth to rearrange you, to reshape you, is exactly the threshold in which you are. So, on a human level, there's a quiet discomfort, there's a subtle emotional pull, a sense that something no longer fits, but you can't really name it or hold it. A knowing that cannot be explained logically, and a tenderness in places that used to feel certain. Maybe there's a little uncertainty. It might feel like something is ending, but not externally. A version of you, a belief perhaps, a way of relating to something that you once knew, a way of holding yourself, maybe holding yourself too accountable, unaccountable, maybe not the realest of self. There may not be a clear answer for what comes next, but there is a clear feeling. And that clear feeling is what no longer is true. This dissolving in Pisces is dissolving every false aspect of you and what you thought you knew. The Scorpio moon reveals completely what was hidden in the subconscious. And that's okay too. It's to bring you into true contact with the true reality that you want to be in, that you want to live in, and your spiritual sovereignty. Thank you. Not the reality you constructed, but the reality your soul has always known. This is not the kind of truth that arrives in excitement. This is the kind of truth that arrives in stillness, with depth, with a quiet certainty that does not need to prove itself yet. There is a moment where consciousness and the emotional body begin to meet, where what you know and what you feel are no longer separate. And that meeting point of the inner alchemy is where the transformation actually begins. Because truth stays in the mind that can be debated, but that truth is what's entering the body. It becomes undeniable. It's not asking you to search. It's not asking you to push forward. It's not asking you to figure these things out. It's asking something way more sacred to feel what you already know. That's the spirituality that's really deep right now, that's happening in a lot of the 12th house. To allow what is already true, to acknowledge without resistance. There are moments along your path where truth comes as revelation, and there are moments where truth comes as recognition. Today is a moment of recognition, not something new, but something ancient within you, something becoming clear enough that it can no longer be ignored. The truth you are seeking today, it's not arriving from outside of you, except for maybe confirmation that might come your way. But it's rising from within you, and it's asking to be honored. And this is the threshold of the pathway that you are in today, tomorrow, and the following day, as Mercury goes direct. I love you all. If you guys